Hello and welcome again to the Writer Review. This is Eric Carrot Writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 2003 action comedy titled The Medallion. Now, The Medallion runs for 1 hour and 28 minutes long. It is directed by Gordon Chan. It is produced by Alfred Chung. The script was written by Gordon Chan, Alfred Chung, Bennett Devlin, Paul Wheeler, and Bay Logan. Now, the score was written by Adrian Lee and Steve Porcaro. The cinematography by Arthur Wong. The editing was done by Don Brochu and Chan Ki Hop. And the stars of the movie are Jackie Chan, Lee Evans, Claire Forlani, Julian Sands, John Rhys-Davis, Anthony Wong Chan Sung, and Christy Chung. Now, a lot of people have said that this was actually one of Jackie Chan's weaker movie efforts. As much as, we all love Jackie Chan. We all love a cool Jackie Chan movie. But there was a lot of people who have said that the movie was not one of his stronger efforts. Well, you know what? You're entitled to your opinions. Everybody has a right to express his or her opinions as long as they are respected and all. But to those naysayers who say that this movie was bad, well, I'm not going to force it down on you, but I'm probably of the minority that actually enjoyed The Medallion. The Medallion is truly an all time great film starring the legendary Jackie Chan in a pleasant action comedy that requires one main ingredient for keeping the film from making it a must see. All you gotta do is just take a camera, follow Jackie around with it, and let him do what he does best. Beat baddies with creative martial arts, give him leeway to perform energetic stunts, and most of all, enjoy every moment he's on, because he just makes anything turn to gold. I mean, even the most mundane movies, or even the most crappy movies, it's always still just an enjoyable pleasure just with Jackie Chan's presence. If there was ever a movie that I really actually found Jackie Chan to ever be weak in, was the remake of the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith. That was that movie was boring as hell. I mean, Jackie Chan didn't even do any of his stunts, and he was just trying to play off of the late Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi character, and he just failed flat. I don't want to see Jackie Chan in dramatic stuff. I love to see him do all kinds of cartoony type action movies. I mean, his English is not the greatest, and maybe I might be undermining him in some ways, but even his acting has not always been the best. I'm not saying it's the worst either, but he's an action star. He's like a Jean-Claude Van Damme and Arnold Schwarzenegger, a Steven Seagal, maybe even to some extent Sylvester Stallone. This guy is a action star. And to be an action star, you got to let your actions speak louder than your words. And this is truly what Jackie Chan is made of. And so, what if he has not always been in the best movies going? The Tuxedo was even worse than The Medallion. That movie was awful. But this movie was not bad at all. I mean, maybe some people might think it's bad. I mean, I'm not gonna condemn or ostracize anybody of their beliefs and whatnot. Everybody has the right to their own expression, their own thinking, and that's okay. And that's okay. I just I was mesmerized by it. Okay, so we do see Jackie Chan a little bit long in the face. Hey, he's not the same kind of action star that we've known back in the 80s and 90s with, Police Story and all those other exciting high adrenaline stuff. And yes, there is going to be some green screening, there is going to be some wiring and all. And maybe that's what people may have been pissed off about. But hey, there are trying to combine, the Hong Kong action stories combined with the American action stories. So there is going to be a little bit of manipulation. There is going to be a little bit of high wiring. But still, just take it like a grain of salt. This is an action movie. This is a comedy. And so what if things are not always measured up? Not everything is 2 and 2 is 4. But still, you just got to sit back and just take it like a grain of salt. It's not to be taken seriously. This is meant for entertainment and fun, and that is probably the sole purpose as to why people go to the movies to begin with. Why so serious? Just saying. Sure, I may be sugarcoating the rules to dissecting the typical, to directing the typical Jackie Chan film, but it's a lot harder than one could imagine. You have to remember a few things that make Jackie Chan the action star that he is. For one thing, his stunt work is graceful like a musical dance, scene, taken in the same veins as the likes of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. The other main idiosyncrasy that stands Jackie Chan out from other action stars is that his comical energy could rival that of the silent film era stars like Harold Lloyd or Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton. But under the direction of Gordon Chan and his crew, they are able to see through him and have every trait of his perfectly acknowledged. I guess, by having a Hong Kong born director in Gordon Chan, Jackie Chan could feel right at home, even if not all of the locations are filmed in Hong Kong. Most of them are not. Most of them are filmed in Ireland. Some of it was filmed in England. There were some that was filmed in Hong Kong too, but it's also, the scripting and all the other behind the scenes work. Some of it was also uh, had some production values from the United States. So, there's a little bit of diversity thrown in there for the mix. And that is, proven to be very, very effective. And I think that with a script like that, that is surely to please the average action film star. Any other star, The Medallion would have just been another fine line action film that has Julian Sands once again playing the evil dude, prancing around, sporting a dark cloak, complete with a hyena for a boa, like he did a decade ago with his 1993 movie Warlock. But what they got right was that they patented down every move and mindset that Jackie Chan possesses. First, we see him at a Hong Kong restaurant feasting down an exquisite food delight. When a stray dog comes right towards him, feeling bad for the little stray, he offers his plate and orders another one for himself. I mean, that scene around the busy streets of Hong Kong, it's probably something you would probably expect there, with all the shopping that's going around, the outdoor shopping that's going around, the outdoor restaurant venues and stuff like that, people scrambling around all over the place. You get that real feeling of authentic Hong Kong lifestyle in the big city. And it's really, really played out to great effect. And I really enjoyed that part as well. There was some great cinematography. There was some great camera work, just in that scene alone. And in that scene alone, you get a little bit of character development, just to, the type of character Jackie Chan is. But then again, Jackie Chan has always played sort of a protagonist in every role that he's in. And he always seems to play off as this kind of sensible, lovable guy. but when the going gets tough, he can really, really kick some motherfucking ass. And he does it with zero to no apologies about it. Oh, maybe he does apologize because hey, he's Jackie Chan. He's always has a smile on his face. He's always enjoying the goodness of life, even if life sometimes throws a nasty curveball at you. But that's just who he is. That's just his traits. That's just what he stands for. And I really, really do. I really did enjoy that in him. I mean, he's always typecasted for playing this good guy character. He may not have that look of intimidation, but he knows that when his life is in danger, well, then, beware. He could be lethal. He might be a little guy, but he could be lethal. Shifting between Hong Kong and Ireland, the Medallion tells the familiar story of a diabolical villain who wants to steal a precious medallion that holds the key to immortality, along with more advanced speed, strength, and agility. I really. Okay, now this medallion, I believe that if you can connect two parts to the medallion, it could guarantee you immortality. I mean, you could shoot me in the chest, and yeah, I might get hurt, I might get slowed down, but I will recover very quickly. You could stab me in the head with a nail that could probably pierce my brain and I could die. But although, yeah, it will hurt like hell, but I will still get up from it. That is what possesses this precious medallion. You could shoot me and I will get up. You could throw me off a building. You might slow me down, and then I won't feel a thing. That's what this medallion is. And this villain who goes by the name of Snakehead, played by the aforementioned Julian Sands, he wants that. Of course, we realize that he's not doing it out of the sakeness of good. No, he wants it for his own selfish purposes, and he will stop at nothing to get it. And it's up to Detective Jackie Chan, who plays Eddie Yang. He is trying to protect this medallion from going into the wrong hands. So it's pretty much a simple, straightforward story. I mean, many people might think it might be too straightforward and that it might appease to a younger audience, but it might not necessarily appease to an older audience. Maybe the younger people might probably enjoy this movie maybe more for the adults. But then again, if you're a kid at heart or if you're just really into Jackie Chan movies, then I don't see why this movie should be really chastised. So he wants to steal the precious medallion that holds the key to immortality so that he can gain advanced speed, strength, agility. With his menacing blonde locks and well-educated demeanor, Snakehead, plays by Julian Sands, is definitely a vibrant antagonist who lives in a posh Irish castle with a bit of a modern feel to it. Of course, the only thing he wants more than anything is to outlive the human race and to continue his mission to trash his ancient castle more. Yeah, okay, so he's the typical cartoony type villain character that we've seen before. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but then again, who cares? Aren't all superhero or action villains pretty much based off of a cliche? I mean, they all have their goals set on something. It might be because of personal vendetta, or it could be because of something that they want and that they're obsessed with having, and they will stop at nothing and bend the rules and break the rules and might hurt a few people on the way, those that may deserved it and those that didn't, preferably those that didn't. And that's just kind of the character that Julian Sands is. Sure, it's a cliche, sure, it's been done a million times before, but it's still always enjoyable to watch. Jackie Chan plays the role of Eddie, a Hong Kong detective assigned by Interpol to hunt down this magical medallion. And he joins forces with a tough ex girlfriend who's also an agent at Interpol. Her name is Nicole, played by Claire Forlani. Sorry about that. And a bumbling but courageous British agent who goes by the name of Arthur Watson, played by Lee Evans. The absurdity of the Watson character may not necessarily appease to the non-Western audiences, but those of the Western audiences will enjoy the presence of Watson's character, who could somewhat similar to Chris Tucker's character in the Rush Hour franchise. I mean, he's just as much of a chatty, bumbling, talkative twit. But the difference is that Chris Tucker's character Carter, he kind of upstages Jackie Chan. Here, Lee Evans. I'm sorry about that. He doesn't upstage Jackie Chan. Chan is not upstaged at all by any of the characters. He's not being just secondary. No, no, no. He is primary through and through. It's not him joining forces. It's them joining forces with him. And even though the filming is American based, the Medallion is clearly designed for a Hong Kong audience, and the direction done by Gordon Chan and the rest of the crew make their homes primarily from Hong Kong. It might think American, but it's pure, genuine Hong Kong the whole way through. And because of this, Jackie Chan can say he feels like home in front of his fellow countrymen. And that makes a big difference because his people knows what he's capable of and doesn't have to be bogged down or watered down just to make an impression towards the American spectrum. Sure, he always seems at ease in his surroundings, but unlike films like The Rush Hour, The Tuxedo, Shanghai Noon, his stunts aren't part of the story. They are the story. And unlike the films where he shares the spotlight to American co stars like Owen Wilson and Chris Tucker, he has no worries of sharing or upstaging them because he's not a sidekick attraction. No, he is in full stardom. In fact, if there was anything, Lee Evans and Claire Forlani, if there's a weakness between them as supporting characters, they're actually quite underdeveloped. I mean, I'm not saying they're over the top. They're pretty effective in their roles, Lee Evans is playing kind of like a bumbling fool, like the Chris Tucker character in the Rush Hour movies. But unlike Chris Tucker, who's loud, over the top, boisterous, and always has clever one liners, Lee Evans has a more subtle approach. And unlike Jennifer Love Hewitt, who was just plain awful in the tuxedo, Claire Forlani actually is also quite subtle in her role as, ex girlfriend of Jackie Chan. And at least this whole ex girlfriend type of story does not get, as much attention as the film goes. And it's a good thing, too, because this film is not really based too much on human drama. It's about kicking ass, doing what's right, saving the medallion so it's not turned to the hands of the wrong people, and to protect it. Okay, there's no need for or any kind of love stories or love angles and whatnot. At least it doesn't meander in that direction. The action is definitely all over the place. I remember in one scene, while chasing some baddies, a person kicks over some bicycles like dominoes, and Chan just leaps over the seats, similar to James Bond in Live and Let Die. Like, you remember the crocodile stream scene, and it all happens in a span of 5 seconds compared to a scene that could last 5 minutes. I mean, you remember the time when James Bond was like stuck on some kind of a lake surrounded by hungry crocodiles. And then James Bond, of course, does his usual narrow escape, jumping over the heads of the crocodiles and makes it to safety. I'd say that's just pretty effective. When it comes down to it, the action scenes is what it's all about. What's typical about it is that it never looks superficial. There are no long takes or quick cuts. It's Jackie Chan moving naturally for the whole 90 minutes of this film. The comic timing also adds the right spice to bring this film to life. So what more can any action fan want? I like a little humor in my action stuff. It feels more cartoony, but it's also to great effect as well. And, I truly think that Claire Forlani is also a great partner for Jackie Chan. This underrated performer is not only attractive, but she's tough and intelligent to want to be on any team. She knows that she's more than just a butt kicking hero, but a humane individual fighting against all evils and obstacles. She knows as much as we do what he's like and how he does it. Sure, she's still kind of playing off the background character, but then, hey, what do you expect? It's a Jackie Chan movie. And even though I guess if there was any weakness, like I said, just like the Lee Evans character as Watson, she's quite underdeveloped. But then again, that's because the spotlight is not on her, it's Jackie Chan all the way. So, to summarize, I guess I could say that this was a really great movie that seems to get a lot of negative press from the fans, but I would not let that deter your expectations. It's not one of his. I'm not gonna say it's one of. I'm not gonna say it's one of Jackie Chan's best work, but it's definitely far from his worst. In fact, I think it's actually maybe one of his more better efforts. But then again, after seeing such awful movies like the Karate Kid remake and the Tuxedo, this one is 10 times better than those other movies. Sure, it's not up there with Rush Hour and Police Story, but it's still, you know, a great movie that's got a lot of good action scenes, not too much on dialogue, and a lot of like not too many well-known performers. Then again, this movie is more stunt riddled and isn't really meant for dialogue or any kind of intellectual merit. So, but still, it's a fun movie to watch and I highly recommend it. If I was to give it a scale out of 10, I would give The Medallion a 9. So I guess this ends my writer review. Thank you all for listening in. If you wish to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. If you wish to leave a comment, go right ahead. But just remember one thing, be kind, be courteous, and don't be rude. And I will be back again with another movie review. So until next time, this is Eric Red Rider saying, keep watching those movies, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.